Hey everyone, Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business. Today we're going to be talking about the update for my dividend portfolio and all the new things I'm using for tracking and monitoring. So there's a lot of new stuff that I've made changes to, so I want to share that with you guys. So right now I'm going to share with you my screen, and this is everything that I'm currently invested in. So what I ended up using was I found out that you can actually set not on Google as easily as you can on Excel. You can still do it, but not as easily. You can set data types to stocks. And if you get the right names, you can just set the stock type. And then you have all these options for inserting data for all these really useful things that you can auto update. So I've added a lot of these here. And essentially what it looks like is once you've got the stock on the very left, anything to the right of it, you can apply the different functions. So C3 price. So it's saying this cell, which is where the stock is, and then the price. And then here you can see where the price is. And every now and then you can just go in and refresh. It will pull all of this data and update it dynamically. So right now, the price of this is $2.09. And a lot of this information you'll get on your actual investing platform, but I wanted to have extra information alongside this. So, you can see the gains and losses and all that stuff. Right now, I'm about 5% down in the market, which isn't too bad. I've actually sold out of all of my blockchain positions because I didn't feel very confident in them, even though we've got the halving and everything coming up. And I'm still 100% bullish on Bitcoin and everything in my crypto portfolio. I didn't feel comfortable still betting on crypto in the stock market. So I decided to, even though that they were slightly down, the stocks that I invested in were crazy opportunity. Like they were like down 50 to 60%. So the 10 or 15% I lost will be made up like very, very like 5, 6 times over with the gains that I'll get from these opportunities. So the biggest thing that I'm tracking here that I couldn't see on a regular like my TD investing portfolio is the price opportunity from their high. So right now I can see that this hotel stock that again is still a pretty good buy right now, because if you think hotels are going to be back in a year, then this should be a great buy for you. And then we look at the price opportunity. So it's like, what is the price now based on the 52-week high? It might be more relevant to look at like, what was the price 4 months ago? And that's your price opportunity. But that's kind of the way that I've set up for what I want to invest in first, while it's still a great opportunity. So other things are like oil, energy. We've got agriculture, a financial exchange income corporation. So there's several different things here, but the biggest thing for me is tracking price opportunity. Well, this is really because of the crash, not what I would normally be as concerned with, but that's what I want to invest in first before everything goes up. And then you've got all the dividend yields here. I will admit that anything above like 6, 7 is kind of, concerning. But the things that I went in that had these high dividends, as long as you can go in and you can make sure that their dividend isn't increasing while their stock is falling, because that's never going to work in the long run, and that they've still been growing over time and it hasn't negatively impacted. And this agriculture company has been around for like so long that I wasn't really super concerned. So I mean, I've looked at all the data. One thing that I want to include and start doing more is like I started doing here, actually having like just a quick little overview of how it's performed in the past, because I like investing in dividend companies that are generally going up over time, because that's the easiest way to do it, right? If you're investing in a company that is staying pretty similar or generally going up over time, you're pretty safe to invest in that. I mean, not just off of that, but that's a pretty good indicator. So here, if you're getting 1.84% in your dividend, you can feel pretty safe that you're going to be making dividends and you're going to be making money on this stock. And that's kind of what I look for in a lot of these stocks that I've been investing. I only just started doing this. That's why this is like not really built out at all. And then I was also going to have how long they paid their dividends, and then their actual dividend history, like showing across time when they've increased it, cut it, all that good stuff. That's going to be really, really informative for me. But right now, the main thing that I've worked on lately is building this out. And then I've also been tracking what fields I'm actually investing in, like what category, and then building out a investing breakdown so I can very easily see what my portfolio looks like at any time, because I do want to be very diversified. So you can see this is my goal for how I want to diversify across different fields. And then this is what I'm currently doing right now. So the next things I want to start like getting more of are these stocks. But as I said, the first most important thing is to be getting these price opportunity stocks. And this is just for what I own, right? What I'm actually looking at right now is very, very different. I didn't include all the dividend information here because I usually start including that when I buy it. And I obviously double check everything before I buy it. But this is my price opportunity for new assets for me to acquire. And it still works the same here. If you guys are really, really interested in this template, I mean, there's better templates out there, but if you're really interested in this as a Excel template, because again, this won't work with Google. So if you want a Google Drive sheet, you're gonna have to look elsewhere. Maybe I can include something that I've found, but this is what I use because if I upload this to Google, it won't work properly. And again, there are ways to do the same thing on Google, and many people do, but I just did this on Excel, so that's just what I chose. If we go and take a look at my, this is really, really cool. I included the link for where you can get this as well. This is off of Joseph Carlson. On his show, he uses this exactly, and he built this. So I've gotten his template, and that's what I use. And you can feel free to get the same thing. I will include that link as well. This isn't important. This is just for me to know where to get my information for my dividends. But essentially, what he's created here is you will go in and you will add your information. The only thing that you're actually changing and adding is your monthly amount that you're earning and then what you actually got. Because your monthly amount might be different. I don't know why exactly, but it's important to just have these two filled out. So I went and I deleted the previous months that I wasn't active for. And then here's when it first started. And then I started adding in my dividend earnings. Essentially what this is doing is everything below the current month. And like the current month, you're obviously just adding in your information. And then everything below that is a projection of if you continue at a similar pace. And at first it's a little like wonky because, you know, if you're going from 81 cents to $7.42, that's an 816% gain. So that's obviously the more data points that you have, the more accurate this is going to be for projecting your income. So say in a year when I've filled out all this will be significantly more accurate. I don't actually believe that in 5 years I will be making, you know, like $2,000 a month. That's not really realistic, but it is pretty useful for giving you the average of what you're earning, showing you what you're going to earn over the year based on your earnings, and then being able to track all that in a nice chart. So this is showing you month over month for what your actual year ends up looking like. And then this is looking at the actual individual monthly earnings. And you've got your actual income and then your average. So this is showing you where you're actually at. And then this is the average and trying to give you a projection for what your future earnings might look like. And then this is just a more simplified version of just showing you the actual income so that you can keep track of all this and have a very good visual representation. This isn't super important if you have a website that will give you this information, right? So for example, when I go on to TD and I log in, And then we go to accounts, projected income. So yeah, TD gives me this information, right? I have all this information. I know that I'm probably going to make about $442 for the year, which is about $36.91 every month. That's basically halfway to my goal here. I had to change a bunch of things around, so that's why it's still pretty close to where I was before. But I'm making more income now, so ideally I could be putting in about $500 to $1,000 a month, and I think that will be a very, very good regular, interval, and a regular. I think $1,000 a month is a very, very safe way to build this up to a very profitable portfolio. And I mean, my ideal situation is doubling what I have in there now, because that will get me close to my monthly target. And I think if I am going to be putting $1,000 in every month moving forward, I actually should be able to make that, given that the market doesn't go way up and I'm, only able to afford a fraction of the amount of stocks. So I'm actually on track for my target right now for the year. So that's really, really awesome. And again, yes, you get all this information from here, but what it can't give you is it can't give you projected income in the future, right? And it can't give you as good of a visual representation. The reason that I really like this is because it's better if I'm able to track this myself rather than relying on TD to do it for me. While this is a very useful application, I like having the data myself, and I can create my own graphs, and I can do all this other all this other stuff with the data and the information. And just being able to see and to do whatever you need to do with the data is just very, very useful. I mean, you might not care enough, so this might not matter, but this didn't take me very long, and a lot of the stuff is updated automatically as you make changes. So for example, if I actually only made $1 last month, or this month rather, you can see the projections are drastically different, right? But because I actually made $7.79, this is what the projection is instead. So everything changes immediately. So that's really, really useful. This is a Google Doc because that's what he was using, and a lot of the functions are through Google. He's actually set it up so it's even easier to update using his. But I wanted this to be easy for me to use, potentially if I wanted to use it on Excel. So I deleted the extra stuff. But that's what it looks like now. So I hope this gives you a decent idea of the different tools and resources and things I'm using to track everything. Again, if you guys are interested in getting something like this, let me know and I'll leave all the information that you guys need. I will try to do that regardless. And I hope this acts as like a somewhat decent update for the different things that I've been up to. I'll give you guys a little brief overview of the stocks that I've recently invested in, just to kind of round this out and give you a little bit of an update, so that in the future, if I show you guys some stocks that I've bought since, that you can kind of follow along with that progress. So as you can see, again, this is the breakdown of my total portfolio. So the main thing that I'm going for is I'm looking at financials, banking, real estate, and insurance. And that's where I mainly want to get my dividends from. Also a little bit in, oh wait, no, I said insurance. So sorry. The main ones are insurance, utilities, banking, real estate, finance, and energy. Again, with the main being finances, real estate, and banking. I think these are really, really safe. I don't necessarily like support the big banks, so to speak, but I don't necessarily support tobacco or alcohol or whatever, but I'm still going to invest in whatever I'm going to invest in. That's just me. I mean, I'm not investing in any tobacco stocks, so you don't need to be worried about that if that is something that concerns you. I will be investing in alcohol though. Waterloo Brewery, really great stock and company, and they make really good beer. So that's in my hometown, so I'm definitely going to be investing in that. And it's just a good investment anyways, and it's a dividend stock, so why not, right? It's really cheap too. It's like $4 right now. But yeah, so this is mainly what I've been building currently. I actually don't remember what I've bought most recently, so you guys are just gonna have to take that into account. Going forward though, I'll make note of what the new ones are so that I can show you the updates. But yeah, I've just been continually buying stocks that have had the most price opportunity out of the stocks, obviously, that I like and I'm interested in, and I think have a really good upside. And while there are good stocks that you could buy, like Air Canada and stocks like that, they're only growth stocks, right? So Air Canada doesn't give dividends. And for me, that is the most important thing. If the stock doesn't have dividends, we're not playing the growth game. We're playing the passive income game. And it is a much more interesting game to play, in my opinion. So, and don't be offended by me using the word game. It's just a term of phrase that Alan Watts repeatedly refers to when he's referring to just different things that are happening in life, and the way that you can, quote unquote, play your role. I don't mean it to be trivial or non-serious, but I am sincere. Anyways, I hope this was a good overview. If there's anything specific that you guys do want me covering when I do these, let me know so that I can do that moving forward. I'm still very new to sharing all this and talking about it. And the thing is, I am very new to it, but I can promise you that I'm extremely dedicated. I spent hours and hours and hours building this out. I still have a lot of ambition to go out, do all the stock research that I mentioned I was going to do, find everything out about all the dividends, all this information. I'm setting up email notifications about dividends so that I'm aware of any cuts and different things. And I'm going to set up my tickers and everything to get notifications for these stocks. I will make a video separately on that when I do that, because I actually haven't done that yet, but that'll be something that I will walk you guys through as well so that you can do the same thing. Because I think if you're doing a dividend stock portfolio, it's very important that you're tracking the dividends for all the companies, if they're cutting their dividends, if there's any issues, and it's not going to hurt you to do so. You're better to sell out of the stock and switch to something else that is paying dividends, because we don't want to rely on companies to give us dividend payouts when they're cutting their dividends regularly or lowering them regularly or whatever it might be. Though obviously right now in the crisis, we can understand if certain stocks have to cut their dividend. That's fair, given that it's back within the time frame that things start to get back to normal. Obviously, so should the dividends. And if they do not, then obviously that's when you would sell out, unless it's too late. So that is something to always be considering. Again, this isn't financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. And I don't even think that you should copy my portfolio, because A, I'm not very successful or anything. I'm an amateur. B, when I bought these, a lot of these is when they were very, very low prices and there was a lot of opportunity. This is what you need to be looking at. Don't be looking at other people's portfolios and buying based on what they hold. Buy based on the opportunity for the price today. And again, don't necessarily just buy things because there's a price opportunity. They could be low because they're performing poorly, like oil. Just because there's a lot of opportunity doesn't necessarily mean it's a good bet. I think the oil industry will come back, so I have no problem investing in oil, especially when it is almost 60% down in value. You're almost certain to see some of that recovery and gain off of that. And again, I don't think oil is going to just go away either. So because we're investing in a dividend portfolio, we're investing for the long term. So if I think this will be back in a year, in 2 years, it shouldn't really matter then. As long as they're still paying their dividends, that's the most important thing. You always have to remember that as long as the stocks are still paying their dividends and they're not, increasing them as they're going down in value, and they're not always going down in value, but still paying out dividends, then it's a pretty safe bet for the most part, or at least that's the way that I've looked at it. Obviously, there's still a million other factors, but when you've looked at a lot of things and you feel pretty good about it, if that's the case, you should be okay. And that's kind of the way that I've evaluated a lot of these stocks. this is what I'm interested in right now because it's the most price opportunity. And then as things start to normalize a little bit after, and then these are what I would buy once everything is back to normal, because these were the least affected stocks, and this could protect me in a future situation that is like this. Even though this is unprecedented, you never know. So it's good to buy stocks that actually perform really well under all the pressure, because, but you do that in the future once everything's recovered. Right now, you've still got a lot of opportunity on a lot of these stocks. So that's it for today. Let me know again if there's anything that you want to see that I didn't cover, if I got anything wrong, if there's anything that you want me to, be doing. Let me know. I'm very new to investing and sharing this, so I'm not sure what people are exactly looking for. But again, if you guys do like these investing videos, make sure to keep letting me know so I keep making them. If there's not a ton of interest, I won't be as focused on them, right? I'm still focused on crypto, but again, I've recently gone into stocks, so this is really interesting to me, and I like sharing this with you guys. If you did benefit from this, or you found this interesting in some way, please let me know in the comments below. Everything here is basically for Canadians. So if you're Canadian and you're, using the same kind of methods, feel free to let me know what you're doing, or, what you think on some of these stocks. Feel free to let me know regardless. But definitely keep that in mind, that I'm a Canadian investing in Canadian stocks because I get crazy tax benefits on dividends, given my tax bracket. So that is something to also consider. If you're doing a dividend portfolio, it's going to be different no matter where you are. So, always look into all the regulations, all the policies, everything that's going to affect your investing strategy, and make informed decisions. Do your research, do your own research. Don't just go off what other people tell you. And I hope you guys have a good investing journey. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business. And if you forgot, or I forgot, if you watched to the very end, don't forget to comment #1ham in the comments below. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. You're amazing. Have an amazing day. I'm Scott Cunningham, aka Scottsy Business, signing off. Cheers.